Tim Scott's VP hustle continues. That's right. Tim Scott has spent the last 6 months desperately pining for the vice presidential slot next to Donald Trump. He has sold out. He has lied. He has buck danced. He has ham boned it up. He's done whatever he needs to do to make sure that he gets the warm butter biscuits that are in the vice presidential suite. His ham boning it up, excuse me, his handkerchief headness is so apparent that even Donald Trump pointed it out. Remember when Tim Scott stood with Trump instead of Nikki Haley, and Trump was like, damn, like, you ain't even staying with Nikki Haley, who endorsed you, and she's the governor of your state? Wow. You must really hate her. Or he was really saying you were a disloyal, lawn jockey. But he didn't say that. He just said, you must really hate her. And what did Tim Scott say? No, I just love you, Donald. I just love you, Mr. President. And so Tim Scott wasn't doing that out the kindness of his heart. He was doing that because he wanted to be and wants to be vice president. But one of the things that kept chasing him on the campaign trail, I'm not saying it's fair. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say I think it's unfair, just to be clear, so y'all don't think I'm playing games here. I think it's unfair how Tim Scott was treated on the campaign trail, but he was constantly chased by questions about who he was dating. Is he dating somebody? Who is he dating? Is he straight? Was the subtext of this? Again, I don't support that. I don't think that his sexuality, his choices, his preferences, his desires should be relevant at the level of choosing him for president or not choosing him for president. I think there's lots of reasons not to like Tim Scott. His romantic choices don't have anything to do with it for me. But people kept pressing him. It's been a subtext on the campaign trail for years. And so finally, they come to him and they ask him about it. And he says, well, I've been dating a nice Christian girl. Now, he was saying this to be president, not to be vice president. But I'm dating a nice Christian girl. Okay, cool. No one ever saw her. She went to a different school. She's a model. She goes to a different school. She's traveling right now. Then, after one of the debates, he shows up with this woman. Y'all might be like, Harpo, who this woman? Her name is Mindy Noce or Noche, Noce, Mindy. That was November 8th, 2023, when they first popped out. Right? He just popped out with her. And the world was like, okay, she exists. Now, I don't know if she exists or if they created a she to make her exist, right? But for whatever reason, suddenly Tim Scott has a girlfriend who goes to a different school but is suddenly showing up for proms and stuff, right? They show her. And before you know it, after that, he's on one knee. He is proposing with the benefit of a full camera crew. Just in case. Just in case. It's like, all right, I need the world to see this. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with photographing a proposal. I have photographs of my proposal. But there's something about this that felt very staged. Very staged. And so we were just like, we'll wait and see. But remember, he doesn't get the nomination for president. Surprise, surprise. Turns out white racist people don't want to vote for Negroes to be president. Even if they smile like a character from Fat Albert, they still don't want him to be president. Go figure. Racist people don't want black people to be president. Shocker. Everybody seems to understand that but Tim. Right? And Nimara Tarandawa, also known as Nikki Haley, who didn't seem to understand that she couldn't Indian her way into or white her way into this by pretending she wasn't Indian. But anyway, so they said he's going to get married to this woman by August 3rd. A lot of us are taking bets. Like, is he really going to get married? Is he going to play it out and see, like, does he still get married if he doesn't get the nomination? Does he still get married if he doesn't get the VP slot? Like, under what circumstances will he get married. But they say sometime in the summer he's getting married. Fine. Again, no big deal, right? Then Tim Scott appears on Fox News. It's a home game. He appears on Fox News for an interview. And something very weird happened that I need y'all to listen to. Listen to this.
Sir Tim Scott, who on August the 3rd will become a father himself. I will tell you in advance, it is the best yet most expensive form of entertainment you can possibly have. So happy early Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to your dad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
I want y'all to watch that again.
Sir Tim Scott,
Watch
who on August the 3rd will become a father himself. I will tell you in advance, it is the best yet most expensive form of entertainment you can possibly have. So happy early Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to your dad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
So he said, as he's closing them out, Senator Tim Scott, who on August 3rd will become a father. So my brain went in a few directions. I'm like, what's going on? How are you going to be a father on August 3rd, right? How does this happen? There's only a couple ways this could happen, right? I thought he was a virgin. I don't know if he's a virgin or not, but he definitely, if he's as Christian as he says he is, that he's saving himself and that he's protecting his loins. You know, the evangelicals always talk about their body parts. Like, I'm protecting my loins. I'm saving my hind parts. So it's like I'm in a butcher shop, you know. Anyway, he goes, he talks about this faith and that he's not doing this. So I said, well, if you're going to be a father on August 3rd, you ain't married. That means you had so that means you had sex before marriage. Again, I don't care. But you say you care. You say it's a sin. What you doing? Then I said, maybe he already got married. Because again, August 3rd, you become a father. And I was thinking, I got a few kids. And I was like, you know, I mean, like, we have due dates, but we don't usually talk about the due date in that way. Like, you know, August 4th, I'm going to be a father, right? Because like most babies don't come on a due date. They come before or after. So I was like, this is a strange thing to announce. And then I got the information because my research doesn't stop at the internet. So I went back and thought a little bit more about y'all's friend and Miss Noche. Turns out they're getting married on August 3rd. So what the announcer was saying was, on August 3rd, Tim Scott will become a father because he'll be the stepfather to her 3 children. That's what they're talking about. So on August 3rd, he becomes a father. So he wished him an early Father's Day based on him becoming a stepfather. That's just a little ridiculous. Can we agree on that? Can we agree on that? That's just a little ridiculous. Again, I'm not taking anything away. I'm not taking anything away. I'm not taking anything away from stepfathers. I think stepfatherhood is important. I think people should be great stepfathers and mothers. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's beautiful. And under the right circumstances, being a step parent could mean that you really are stepping in there and really playing a dad role. I get that. I get that. You might be stepping in for a father who's died or who ghosted the family, who wanted no parts. You could be a father when the biological didn't bother, right? As they used to say. Some people get attribute that to Shaq. It's actually Pete Rock and CL Smooth from Reminisce. But the problem is, her kids are grown. Her kids are grown. What are we talking about here? This woman got 3 grown-ass kids, and now his black ass is showing up Talking about some, I'm a father. No, you're not a father. You're a guy who's dating their mom. I'm not saying that step parents don't count. What I am saying is, if they are adults and you just met her and you're getting married next or in August, you're not a father. Now, again, I'm not here to talk about people's fatherhood. I'm not here to talk about people's paternity or whatever. I don't. It's not my business. Why am I bringing this up? Because it's part of the VP hustle. They were very intentional with their language. Fox News does nothing by accident. Fox News does nothing by accident. They didn't say, congrats on August 3rd when you'll become the stepfather to some grown-ass white people who you never met before, who probably don't see you as their father. They might not even see you as their butler. You can't say that, right? That's just too much info. So what do they say? He just slips it in there so that in the mind of the American voter, Tim Scott is now complete. He embraces Republican policy. He's an evangelical Christian. He stands lockstep with Donald Trump. He's married and he has kids. He's got the whole thing, except to quote Maury and the great April Silver, you are not the father. And you don't have to be. You shouldn't have to be a father to be president. You shouldn't have to be married to be president. You shouldn't have to be straight to be president. You shouldn't be any of these things to be president. And yet we're imposing on Tim Scott these very things. But at the same time, it's being done to reinforce a certain narrative of what normal is, of what healthy is, of what proper is, of what legitimate is, that will not only shape the presidential race, but it continues to shape public policy because Republicans continue to advance policies that harm people who don't fit their template for what normal is, for what family is, for what healthy is, for what moral is. It becomes a problem. But Tim Scott don't care about all that. He just wants to be VP. And guess what? He's in the ring. And Tim Scott ain't far. I see some of these black people who are running for office, like people like Byron Donalds in Florida, the Negro that said last week that we were better under Jim Crow. He didn't say exactly that, but that was the subtext, or that was the takeaway message, that the black family was stronger under Jim Crow, et cetera, et cetera. They'll say anything to get the choice. Tim Scott will say anything as well, but he has more dignity. He has more self-regard. He has more self-respect. He's doing a better job of hiding the fact that he is a Sambo at times. And I don't like to use these racial slurs, man. I don't even call them slurs. These jabs. It's just Tim Scott. He just cooks my grits, man. He just burns my biscuits, man. Six words. Accept your own and be yourself. That's it. Timmy ain't doing none of that. So he's going to continue to hustle for VP. And I think, I mean, look, Ben Carson was my dark horse from the beginning, no pun intended. But now, I'm still rooting for Tim. Not rooting. I still think that Ben Carson has a great shot. But I think that Tim Scott is edging up quickly. I mean, you want to get black voters, get a black person as VP.